My quiet ranch-style home outside Phoenix had been my sanctuary for nearly 20 years. At 70, I enjoyed a simple routine. Morning coffee on the patio. Gardening in the afternoon. Reading before bed. Then one Sunday afternoon, my daughter Melissa arrived without warning. She wasn't alone. A moving truck followed behind her. "Mom, we need your help," she announced as movers carried furniture toward my front door. I blinked. "We?" Melissa pointed toward her teenage son, her 2 dogs, and the mountain of boxes stacked inside the truck. "My divorce is finalized. It'll only be for a month or 2 until I get back on my feet." Before I could answer, the movers were already unloading. The decision had apparently been made for me. The first week wasn't terrible. I told myself she was going through a difficult time. I wanted to help. Then little things started happening. My favorite reading chair disappeared from the living room. Melissa moved it into her bedroom. The garage filled with her storage bins. My kitchen cabinets were rearranged. Even worse, she began introducing my house as our house. Every time I heard it, something twisted in my stomach. One morning, I walked into the kitchen and found a contractor measuring the walls. "What is going on?" I asked. Melissa smiled. "I'm modernizing the place." "The place?" "You know. The house." I stared at her. "My house." She laughed as if I had made a joke. The contractor looked uncomfortable. That was the moment I realized this wasn't temporary. Melissa wasn't rebuilding her life. She was taking over mine. A few weeks later, I overheard a conversation that changed everything. I had forgotten my phone upstairs. As I approached the hallway, I heard Melissa speaking with her friend. "Honestly, Mom can't manage this house forever." My hand froze on the railing. "Once I get power of attorney, things will be much easier." The friend laughed. "What about her?" Melissa's answer made my blood run cold. "There's a really nice assisted living facility nearby." Silence. Then both women laughed. I stood there motionless. My own daughter was making plans for my future without my permission. That night, I didn't argue. I didn't confront her. I simply made a decision. The next morning, I scheduled appointments. With my attorney. My financial advisor. And my estate planner. For years, Melissa assumed she would inherit everything. The house. The savings. The investments. She treated my kindness like an advance payment. What she didn't know was that every asset was still completely under my control. Over the next month, I quietly reorganized my affairs. The house was transferred into a protected family trust. A portion of my estate was designated for my grandchildren's education. Several charities were added as beneficiaries. And Melissa? Her inheritance became conditional. If she attempted to challenge my independence or manipulate my living arrangements, she would receive exactly $1. Legally. Permanently. Then came the final straw. One afternoon, I returned home from lunch with friends. My bedroom door was open. Melissa was inside. Going through my paperwork. She jumped when she saw me. I was just helping organize things. "No," I said calmly. "You were searching." The room fell silent. For the first time, she looked nervous. 3 days later, I called a family meeting. Melissa sat across from me at the dining room table. Her son sat beside her. I placed several folders on the table. "What are those?" she asked. "My updated estate documents." Her face lit up immediately. Then she opened the first folder. The smile vanished. Page after page revealed changes she never expected. The house was protected. The trust was protected. The finances were protected. And every attempt to remove me from my home would automatically disqualify her from receiving anything substantial. Melissa's face turned white. "You did this because of me?" "No," I replied. "I did this for me." She stared at the papers. Then came the anger. The accusations. The tears. The guilt trips. I listened quietly. When she finally stopped talking, I said one sentence. "If you spent half as much energy building your future as you spend planning mine, you wouldn't need my house." The room went silent. A week later, Melissa found an apartment. A small one. Nothing luxurious. But it belonged to her. The day she moved out, she barely spoke. Her son hugged me before leaving. "Grandma, I'm glad you stood up for yourself." That meant more than he realized. 6 months have passed since then. The house is peaceful again. The garden is blooming. My mornings are quiet. Melissa and I still speak. Not every day. Not even every week. But when we do, the relationship feels healthier. Because now there are boundaries. The truth is that some people mistake access for ownership. They believe that because you've helped them, they somehow deserve control over your life. They don't. Kindness is not surrender. Love is not permission. And growing older doesn't mean handing over the keys to people who haven't earned them. The house is still mine. The decisions are still mine. And for the first time in a long while, so is the peace.